palms are sweaty.
Gross.
Mom spaghetti.
I forgot the lyrics.
Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms
Whoa,
are heavy.
buddy.
There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Betamax. I forgot the rest.
I mean, I don't know either.
My name's Fidel. His name's Eddie. His name's Jose. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey.
It feels like we haven't recorded in a while.
I know.
All right, we'll see everybody next week. So what's up? How you guys been?
Just busy being cold and doing baseball shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Joseph's back in baseball.
Yeah, because it's ramping up.
Damn.
It's that time.
Damn, you good? You good? What's going on?
Fucking pterodactyl real quick. Got him. Fucking bitch.
Damn, eat it.
What is that? Fucking pterodactyl?
Oh, dude. Harold and Kumar. The extreme.
Extreme cheddar. So dumb, dude.
What's up, Eddie? How you been?
Chill.
That's what's up. That's it?
up?
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So your schedule, what's your schedule like now? We're recording pretty early.
Hey, I'm open now.
Hey.
Hey.
Wide open.
Hey.
Chicks. Yeah, I'm open.
So, movies, huh?
No, so check this out.
What's up?
So a couple weeks ago, or no, last week. So last week, I had to go do like a pickup of some eyewash stations at a customer's site, right? So there's a handful of them. They're moving out of state, closing down. So it's something I had planned out. So I pull up. I contacted one of my coworkers to help me out. So I have a little more because it's a lot of equipment. So I didn't have enough space for just me.
Yeah.
So dude comes to help me out, and it's like 8:30 or so in the morning. We pull up to the customer site, and there's this guy. He that I don't recognize, and he stops us, and he's like, "What are you guys doing here?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're here to pick up some eyewash stations to help you guys before you move." And he's like, "Oh, we threw them in the trash." And I said, "Oh, really? That's not good, bro, because that technically kind of belongs to, like, us. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, yeah, well, the guidance I had was just, that we can just get rid of them. I'm like, okay, well, that sucks because that's a problem, So I jump on the phone. I get in touch with, like my manager. Like, oh, so, what do we do? And then I get off the phone, and the guy comes back, and he has a phone in his hand, and he has it on speakerphone, and he hands it to me. And it's this lady, and it's a name that I recognize. I thought she had retired. She was the contact I had first had when I first inherited my route and that customer. But I've had other contacts since then. So she hasn't been around in some time. Like I said, I was under the impression that she had retired. So I'm on the phone and I'm holding it in my hand. She's like, we own those units. You guys are going to do blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I think you might be mistaken, at some point, like the things had changed with your account and this is where it's at now. So this is something that I have to do. And dude, she popped off on me, bro.
Really?
Yeah. And she was like, oh, that's fucking bullshit. You guys are fucking scammers. You fucking rapists. You just go around fucking raping customers and raping people. It's things like that. And then she ended her rant telling me, she's like, yeah, I hope you sleep at night knowing that you fucking rape people. And then so I'm like, okay. I just hand the phone back to the guy,
Throwing that word out pretty often, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like she was pretty really uncareful with her choice of words, dude. So I was like, okay, and I'm not gonna lie, I was just kind of hot because I was like, bro, I'm not trying to deal with all that. Like, I'm just trying to do my job.
Yeah.
So I asked the dude, I was like, hey, bro, is there somebody else I can talk to? And he's like, yeah, I'll take you to the manager that's here. So we're walking in, and I wrote her name down on my notepad, and I'm asking this fool, like, hey, can I get your name? And he was acting like he didn't hear me. Like, I could tell. And then, so I stopped him again before I walked in the door, and I asked him like, "Hey, bro, like I just want to write everybody's name down so that when I reach out to my managers and stuff and let them know what's going on, that I have an account for everyone that was present, And he's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna give you my name." And I was like, "Damn, for real, like that? You're gonna hand me the
What
phone?
the fuck, dude?
Like, you're gonna hand me the phone and you're gonna like put that on me like that, and then not give me your name like that?" He's, "I'm sorry, bro." I
Fuck.
was like, all right. So I was like, at this point, I'm like pissed,
Yeah.
But like I'm at work, dude. So I'm in my uniform, so I'm maintaining my composure. They gotta be professional. It's my customer, and it's just a misunderstanding on their part. But like, still, I feel it. And so I'm talking to this manager, and the first thing I say to this guy, and I was like, "Oh, this is what this lady said to me," and I verbatim kind of just let him know. And he was like, "Oh, she really said that? Oh, that's crazy, like this and that." And then the guy that had the phone, he comes back in the room. So it's me and this manager sitting down. My coworker is next to me. This bro comes back in, and he has the phone in his hand again, and he's telling me like, "Oh, she wants to talk to you," and I'm like, "Nah, bro, I'm good." And he's like, "Oh no, she really wants to talk to you." And I told him, I was like, "Bro, like I'm not interested in anything else she has to say to me, dude. Like if I'm being honest, And he's like, "Oh, but she insists, she really insists. She really wants to speak to you." So I was like, "Okay." So he gives me the phone, and I went, and I beep, I hang it up. I give it back to him. And I was like, "No, bro, I'm not down. Like, not down." And he's like, "Okay." And he walks away. So I'm still working all this out. Like, hey, describing to this guy the situation, dropping names that people I've talked to before. We got it all worked out. Like the guy told the other dude, fish him out of the thing, blah, blah, blah. It was being solved. So it was all cool. Bro comes back in another time, and he has the phone in his hand again, and he's like, he says, "Oh, she wants to apologize." And I was like, "No, man, I'm really not down. I'm really not interested in talking to her right now, man. Like, I'm in communication with so and so. It's not my like. I don't need to deal with her anymore, especially after all that." He's like, "Yeah, but she really wants to say sorry. She really wants to apologize."
Tough shit.
Yeah. And I said, "Bro, I can appreciate that she wants to apologize. That shows me that she's remorseful and all." I said, "But I hope she sleeps at night knowing that she called me at knowing that she called me a rapist." And he's like, "Okay." He just walks away,
He's like, "Hey, the rapist says."
Damn.
Yeah, and so it was over and done with, and we left, and then like that following Monday, I get a call from somebody in that company, and like, "Oh, we wanted to follow up with you about this incident. Like, we want to get like a proper like idea of what happened,
Yeah.
So I called back, and I was talking to this lady. She's asked me questions, having me describe people, this and that, and yeah, and I was telling her, and I was like, "Yeah, like the reason why I think it's important that like you guys do this, like I declined to make it like a formal thing. Like I don't want to do like a formal complaint or whatever, because like doing this much is to me says a lot, because they're very apologetic. It doesn't reflect the values of our company, this and that.
Yeah.
And I said, but no, I like the thing that I think she needs to understand, like it is appropriate for you guys to like make this a conversation with her, and like she needs to know that there's like a level of professionalism, good decorum in which you gotta like carry yourself with."
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, like the choice of words too is really poor, because when you think about it, like what if like me or someone like close to me is like a survivor of something like that, and then like that could just be a triggering thing to have happen at work, and like I have to, and putting me or somebody else who in that situation that's like that in a position where they have to like relive that trauma at work, that's really bad, just something to consider, when you're having that conversation with her. And they're like, "No, I appreciate that," and it just kind of ended there. But it was kind of like, dude, don't fucking pop off on people like that, man. Like, especially like if you're not sure, like the whole thing could have been averted if she had just like really just given me a moment to just quickly and easily explain it to her, and then she could have like on her end done her due diligence to investigate, and then get back in touch with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, instead of her being open to like, okay, let's figure out this misunderstanding, she was immediately like, I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, like there was no nuance to it,
Yeah.
you know, because even in the moment the dude was trying to tell me like, oh yeah, that person who was signed this contract or whatever, you know, they're not permitted to, so it's kind of like not a valid contract.
Yeah.
And I had to tell that dude like, not how contracts work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, yes, because yeah, he posed the hypothetical to me, and I said, yeah, of course. Like if I were to sign something on behalf of the company I work for, it's against policy, right? Like that contract that I would sign on behalf of would be valid, but like I would get in deep shit for having signed it, you know, because like I'm not permitted to do so.
Yeah.
You know, so I said that's a problem that you guys have. You know, that was a breakdown in that process on your end, you know. And I wasn't even involved in that conversation to make that happen. It was literally one of those things that just one day it changed, and I just have to execute on the task that's given to me. You know what I mean? So could have been easily cleared up, but she just kind of assumed that she was just in the right.
Yeah.
And then kind of like led with that narrative kind of ideas and poor choice of words.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I understand the context, you know, but like still bad choice of words. And that's a really fucked up way to come at somebody, you know? I didn't take it personal, but it was still kind of like, fuck, you know, like I don't really get in those situations often, especially at work, you know, but it was just random and it was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, dude, gotta tell the guys about it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What about you, Eddie? Any crazy stories at work?
Yeah, I got raped.
Oh my God. Hey, for real?
It's been chill. It's been chill. It's been chill.
That's what's up. That's what's
You're a fucking idiot.
up. Have you finished your book?
Yes, finally.
So what'd you think?
It was pretty cool, dude.
Yeah?
Like,
You were listening to it, right?
yeah.
Okay.
My damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally got through it all, dude, and it's pretty crazy, dude. Like the whole journey, him being a teenager, starting Black Flag, then going on to Circle Jerks, and then just a bunch of little bands, projects here and there, and then finally with Off.
Yeah.
And like seeing like his I guess his like work ethic, like the way his mind works, like in Circle Jerks it was just party mode.
Yeah.
Like any drugs he can take, and he's wanting to get fucking wasted. That's what's up.
As Jose takes a rip.
Yeah, he's wanted to do drugs. Like you said, there's like a part of the book where he's like living with a coke dealer, and he was just fiending. So he would like find little powder like in the carpet and shit, and like try to snort it. Like
That's crazy.
just crazy stuff. Yeah, and then he talks about getting sober and just being clean, quitting alcohol, and then how he became a diabetic, and how that affected his touring and like just his whole outlook on life, taking care of himself, getting rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like 70.
I think so.
Yeah, he's pretty old, dude.
Yeah.
Like he's older than you think.
Yeah, dude. And it's crazy because I mean, he talks about it too. Like he's like, I'm surprised that I didn't permanently damage any body parts during that whole like Circle Jerks Black Flag era.
Yeah.
Where he was just nonstop, like wasted at every show. Just
Yeah, dude. I mean, like it's littered with in like all of those lyrics that he's written. Like live fast, die young. Like
yeah, dude.
like
He even talks about that, dude. Like what is it? Like the song "Wasted."
Yeah.
He's like, nobody else can write that except me. He's like, I lived it. Like that was what I did.
He's just fucking wasted all the time.
Yeah, dude. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, and just crazy stories about like what's that guy from SNL, the who was in all those National Lampoon movies?
John Belushi?
Yeah, about how like he would be at their shows, like partying with them, offering them like drugs and shit. Like how he I think the Circle Jerks were supposed to play, but I think because of the whole Fear show, that infamous show, that like they just like no more punk bands like that. So
yeah, because he was into bands like that.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, and it was crazy. Like they were like really good homies, and like he'd just be like a normal person at a show. Like
yeah, but I mean, it's not surprising though.
Yeah,
because I mean, like he shares the same fate as a lot of like you know, like musicians of those bands of that era, you know, like Darby Crash and stuff like that. Just that really fast, like reckless lifestyle.
Live fast, die young.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool that, I mean, he kind of made it out of that, you know?
That's crazy to think.
Yeah. Like, and he talks about how, like, he went, like, on tour with Turbo Negro in, like, the Netherlands or something. I don't know where they're from exactly. I can't remember. But how, like, he went into, like, a diabetic coma because he had, like, nothing to eat for, like, 3 days except, like, coffee and, like, M&Ms.
Fuck yeah.
Coffee's a fucking diuretic.
Dude, well, he was talking about how, like, they wanted him to be, like, to do guest vocals on one of the songs. And when he flew over there, like, he's, like, saying, like, I don't know what the fuck is about this place, but everything closes early, like, and then I guess the spot where they were, like, staying for the weekend, like, there's nothing around for, like, miles and miles, and obviously he doesn't have a car, so yeah, he just, like, went into, like, a legit, like, diabetic coma, dude, and, like, he's like, the only thing that kept me alive was, the doctor said it was because I was drinking water while he was puking. Like, he just kept chugging water.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he said, like, after that, like, that's why, like, I guess he doesn't do long tours because of that. His body just can't do it anymore. So he does, like, he'll do, like, a 2-week tour, then chill, and then do, like, another 2-week tour, and I guess that's just how he goes about it.
That's an old people tour, dude.
Yeah.
It's like in 1 or 2 week stints.
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, dude, I mean, you reach a certain point, dude. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be able to tour now, you know, like, like months at a time, like, how, you know, sleeping in vans, like, fuck that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, even if you see like ACXDC, right? Like, I mean, Sergio has a family and everything going on. Like, you don't really see them go on tour for longer than maybe a week, maybe 2.
Yeah,
you know?
dude.
Like, when before we would be gone for several weeks, you know, almost a month, if not more, you know. But that was before everyone like had kids and whatnot, you know. It was just the band.
Yeah.
So I mean, it definitely gets to a point where it's like, yeah, you either have too much life happening, or you're just too old and like have things that won't allow you to just rock and roll like that on that level, you know.
Yeah. But it was just cool, like, hearing him talk about, like, how, like, being sober is, like, the best thing that's ever happened. Like, his, obviously, you know, the clarity that comes with that, and, you know, his writing process, how he's, like, actually writing more now, and, like, he said he's having, like, more fun with this band than he ever did with any of the other bands. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it was a cool book, man. And, like, I especially, like, the beginning part, like, I'm always, like, really, like, into, like, the whole, like, teenager starting a band thing. You know, because I feel like at one point, like, if you're into, like, really into like music, or you play an instrument, that's, like, everyone's dream. Like, you know, I want to make it big, and, you know,
especially like if you're into punk music, like, it's got a purpose.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, punks can't help themselves but to, like, be fucking loud about shit, you know. So of course, like, you have that urge when you're a punk kid to be in a band and just do it, you know. Yeah,
dude. So I mean, it was a cool book, dude. I would recommend it. It is pretty long. It took me, I think it was like, I want to say 6 or 7 hours.
Like, in total reading time?
I think so. I might be wrong, but
how many pages again? I don't know if you mentioned it before.
I have no idea.
You don't even,
Yeah, no, but it was like 18 chapters. Like, it's pretty long. But yeah, it's always interesting, like, hearing, like, I don't know, someone that you grew up listening to, like, you know, go on about how they started certain bands, like,
outside of
adventures, like, how, like, you know, he talks about, like, you know, being a punk back in the day, like, how he legit, like, people fucking hated you, like, they would, you know, throw shit at you, fucking spit at you, like, all this shit, and then now it's just so normal. It's like nobody really pays attention anymore.
Yeah.
And, you know, he talks about that. He's like, it's like that, you know, like, a lot of these bands paved the way for what it is now, you know, so.
Yeah, because, like, back in the day, like, it would be the jocks that were the haters, and now, like, jocks have kind of infiltrated, like, the hardcore, like element, you know.
Yeah, dude.
It's not weird, you know.
Yeah, and he talks about, like, you know, when like the hardcore stuff started, like, emerging, like the Minor Threat, like the more heavier, faster stuff, and how, like, that, like, the shows got way more dangerous and way more like
violent.
Like, that's where, like, all these tough guys started coming to shows and stuff like that. And he just goes into all that, you know, and, like, just all the, like, the shit he got into with cops, like, you know, cops breaking up the shows. him getting thrown in jail, getting beat up by cops.
That's interesting. I remember Henry Rollins mentioning something about that too. Like him and Ian McKay too, or Mackay or whatever. Like them both kind of having like a similar moment where they realize like, damn, this shit is just too.
Yeah.
Like we're doing too much. You know, we're like it's just like reckless like violence. You know,
Yeah, dude.
like for no reason other than just because it's fucking crazy. You know?
Dude.
And they toned it back. I mean, in Mackay so much as so that he started Fugazi, you know?
Yeah.
No moshing at our shows, guys, you know?
at the drive-in level.
Yeah, dancing only.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's cool, man. Like, if you're ever into like Black Flag, Circle Jerks, like that, you know, or just punk, old school punk in general, like it's so interesting, dude. And just like hearing about everything, like just, you know, him touring, like all the fucking shenanigans they got into, like
it's behind the curtain from what you're from what you're hearing, what you're used to hearing.
And he's super humble, dude. Like the way he talks about everything, like he never puts himself on a pedestal. Like, oh, I did this, I'm a pioneer. Like he never talks like that. It's very like I just wanted to play music. Like that's all I cared about. Like I never cared about money or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
But and he's still very much kind of in that mindset, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really interesting, dude.
It is interesting because I know, like I said, I remember last seeing that he was about like 70 years old, you know? So, I mean, for him to kind of still, you know, stay true to those values, and more so like growing in them by becoming sober and whatnot, you know, like that's tight, you know? Like,
yeah, dude.
Punks live forever, dude.
Yeah, sometimes. But yeah, dude, I wanted to start Animal Farm. I didn't get a chance to. But I did find one that I liked on Spotify because there was one that I clicked on. I'm like, oh, no, I can't listen to this voice. I think it was an AI voice.
Oh,
and it just sounded funky.
I don't like those.
Yeah, so then I found one that was just a normal narrator. So,
for Animal Farm?
Yeah.
I think the one I listened to was the AI one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I couldn't do it, dude. I think I got like maybe like a couple pages in and I was like, no, dude, this is bugging me.
Yeah, it was the AI one because I remember like at the end of it, it said like, oh, this book was narrated by some like AI machine. Whatever.
Yeah. I think it said in the beginning too, because it's like, yeah, dude, it sounded weird.
Wait, so there's one with like an actual narrator?
Yeah, I think there's like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, the one I listened to had an actual narrator.
Hey, we'll send them the link, homie.
You didn't ask,
bitch.
It was cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You finished it, right?
Yeah, I had finished it. I remember like starting to read the actual book when I was in high school, but I never like got far into it.
Yeah.
Maybe like a chapter in. But yeah, I finished it and I had like read a bunch of shit about how it's very anti-revolution. Like how like and I was like, really? Like that's what people got from it?
Nah, it's definitely a story that has been like used by that crowd.
Yeah.
To
like, see, you shouldn't do it.
Propagandize.
Yeah.
Like socialism, because at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, it's an allegory.
Yeah.
Because it's truly him having to. It's his like criticism of the Russian Revolution, right? Because it's an allegory of that, right? So if you keep into account like the characters, you know, like Old Major, that's like Karl Marx, kind of like Lenin, just in ideas, you know, and Napoleon is Stalin, you know, what is it, Snowball or Snowflake or whatever the other one?
Snowball.
That's Trotsky, right? He was exiled, you know, because the dude was challenging the dictator, you know. The dogs are the secret police, like the mass killing in front of everybody was the Great Purge, accusing them of being traitors.
Yeah.
Because like in that instance in real life, you know, it became very authoritarian after it became like, you know, the Soviet Union. You know, so it became the like this idea of a dictatorship is like the only alternative to capitalism, right? and that was like his critique of like how that was played out, you know, in a form in which I guess was easily digestible by many people, because essentially it's a children's book, and the 2 adaptations that that you can find on screen are both PG films.
Yeah.
And the new one that's coming out, I assume, is the same.
There's another one coming out.
Yeah, it's directed by Andy Serkis.
Oh.
And it's like written or something like that by Seth Rogen. And
really?
Yeah, and I think it's a twist on the story where I think like the villain is like an AI component.
Yeah.
I haven't seen too much like positive remarks on what people think that's going to end up like, you know. We'll see.
I think Seth Rogen being attached to it is what's making people kind of question. But I will say, if you watch The Studio on Apple TV, that could change your mind.
Okay.
Because the writing in that show is really good.
Interesting. Because I mean, I saw like what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And it's a CGI film, you know. Like the original was like released in the late 50s, and that's fully animated. And then the next one that came out was in 1999, and that has like animatronics. So like all the animals are animatronics.
Mm.
So this newest one that's supposed to be coming out very soon, I believe, is this like a CGI, like, you know, the DreamWorks style, you know, type. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna be very good. But I don't know. I never had a chance to watch the movies, but I mean, I loved the book. You know, I love the messaging in it. It's crazy to think that it's a reflection of something that actually happened in the world. You know, so that the way that the book kind of portrays like how they were manipulating their values and taking advantage of people, because like if you think about how it has that allegorical factor, the pigs were like the vanguard party, you know, and in the Soviet Union, the vanguard party was regarded as the groups of like intellectuals, and the people who were of like, you know, just like the laborers, you know, like the workforce, they were typically not like educated people. They weren't very like, you know, like couldn't very well read or write like that. Because prior to that, they were under a monarchy, you know, so it was very much like a king and then peasants that till the land. You know what I mean? It was very much like that. So they were very much behind the rest of the developed world. So I mean, these people were very like they're just weren't as like on an intellectual level as some of these people who were in the Vanguard Party. And in the book, you know how they showed that, you know, those 7 commandments or whatever, and it's like, you know, an animal shall not hurt another animal. Unless, you know what I mean? Like, because they can't read, you know, so it's showing that manipulative nature, you know.
Wasn't one of them like they were told them basically an animal shall not consume alcohol, and so none of them drank or something.
Yeah.
But what it actually was shall not consume alcohol in excess.
In excess.
So basically don't get fucked up.
Yeah, like
they can consume, but
yeah, everything that they had originally stated, they were violating all those rules, and one by one, the ones that were calling that into question were the horses, which were a representation of like the loyal people who supported the idea, like the ones who heard the words of Marx, quote unquote, you know,
yeah,
and were you know, galvanized by those ideas and believed in it, you know, and they trusted the in that, you know, and but you know, had those questions, you know, and every time, you know, not sleeping in a bed unless it has sheets on it, which is like the you know, the nature of what separates man from animal, you know.
Yeah.
Like it it goes to, it just basically goes to show you as like a warning, is the way that he wrote from these perspectives, as to like what these leftist factions can end up turning into, because as like a the only alternative, I suppose, to capitalism or something like that, or to the monarchy, to oppression, is a dictatorship. But you know, it's not, that's not how that works, you know. Like Stalin got it very fucking wrong, and he was a ruthless piece of shit, you know. You know, and I don't know, I thought it was a really good book though, man.
Yeah,
like,
no, I thought it was too.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm interested in those things, you know, and it was such a cool way to lay all that out, you know.
Because it is like a tale of how the revolutionary can become the oppressor.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, one of the major criticisms from either inside leftist circles as well is that you can kind of summarize in a way like communism as being a dictatorship of the working class. You know what I mean? So it's kind of taking a spin on that idea. You know, it just where it became so far left it was like right in a way, like that. You know, because I mean the way that the book ends, you know, they're seeing the pigs, and they can't tell the difference between the pigs and the men. That they're dressed the same, they walk the same, they look the same, they sound the same, they act the same. Like, you know, and then the cycle just kind of restarted itself. You know, that cycle of oppression, like started over.
I like how the sheep were just like the representation of people being as sheep, basically.
Yeah,
they're just repeating like the whole what was
slogans.
It? Yeah, what was it? The 2 feet bad or 4 feet good or something like that.
Yeah, 4 feet good, 2 feet bad.
Like they kept repeating it until like at the end when they were like
2 feet good, 4 feet bad.
But then they said
or
something
4 feet good, 2 feet better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, to me that sounds no different from like, you know, make America great again. Even something as Black Lives Matter and fuck ICE. It is
slogans.
Yeah, it's just slogans. You know what I mean? That's all that is. You know, I think that's why they reference sheep. You know.
Yeah.
You get a lot of those types of like references like that you're kind of used to hearing in like political discourse from like Orwellian books, dude.
Yeah.
You know, because even like the concept of Big Brother, like that's from 1984. You know. So I mean, sheep. I mean, I wonder if they just get that concept, you know, from Animal Farm. You know, if that's kind of like where that came from. Maybe makes sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a dope book. I've never read it before. I don't remember having to read it in school. But then again, like I had a difficult time doing that, so I kind of just looked up footnotes online.
I think it was my sophomore year when we had to read it. We had to like do a whole like essay on it. So
yeah, I don't remember doing it.
I doubt they would even make them read that book nowadays. But
I know I'm very curious to see what kind of like.
Well, that's the thing. They use it like in a very McCarthyian way.
Really?
Yeah. That's kind of how that book has been used, which is why you kind of had that like from that idea you kind of opened it up with is supposed to be like, hey, see, look, this is why we tell you communism's bad. You know, because
this is why you should just obey.
This is why you should just, you know, comply and obey.
Just comply,
you know, conform. You know what I mean?
Fuck that.
It's been kind of misused, and people often confuse Orwell for being someone like who associates themselves on the right, but they're very wrong. They're very wrong because that dude, like, is very much on record stating that he's a socialist.
Yeah,
you know. Albeit very critical of the way that he's seen in his time the actual application of like socialist like movements and become a problem, which is why he wrote, you know, those 2 books.
Did he write The Giver?
That I don't know. The next book I want to read for him though is Homage to Catalonia.
Mm-hmm.
It's a collection of like his writings of when he initially went out to Spain during the Spanish Civil War to be a journalist because he wanted to cover the truth of what was going on because they're fighting because there was a fascist coup occurring and then they were fighting against the fascist Franco. And in the book you can in that book I guess you can hear him like talk a lot about his thoughts, a lot of what he learned, and he got galvanized at his time there, and to switch from becoming just a journalist to actually fighting in the Civil War, and found himself aligning like with like some of the communist factions, but then started to not agree with some of their like how their approach to things were, and ended up like really clicking with this other group that was basically like all like the anarchist faction, like of the people who didn't have the same type of, I guess, plans and methods, you know, as to what ought to happen once this is over, you know. I think it was the POUM. It seems very fascinating, you know. But like the documentary that I watched, the Orwell 2+2=5, that is it's Orwell's words out of a journal that he was writing while he was in Scotland at the end of his life while writing 1984. But it's somebody's reading it like as Orwell, like playing Orwell's voice, but they're reading, so it'll be like, and it's really cool. It'll be hyperimposed, and it'll be like February 5th, 1930, whatever, and it'll start to show some scribbles, and then it shows images from like real life, modern, and from the past, but also just like beautiful like wide shots of the Scottish like landscape, and some old footage of him, and he talks about his family. He has it has letters that he's writing to people, talking about writing the book, talking about him suffering from tuberculosis, times that he's been in and out of like sanitariums, and like writing letters to people who were and he's describing like the couple of ideas for the name of the book that he has, super interesting. But he in some of those letters or those journal entries, you can hear him having like his contemplations of like what inspired like his warnings in these writings, such as 1984 and stuff. Like his kind of like his views on like authoritarianism, his capitalism, it's very interesting to kind of hear from in his own words, like where his headspace was while writing 1984. Because he had, at this point, he had already written Animal Farm, because 1984 was the last book that he wrote. Yeah, but super interesting, like author, because both these books were really good. That documentary was fucking dope, dude. I think you guys would really like it. The music was cool. Yeah, dude, and it made me really inspired to want to read Homage to Catalonia, because I'm interested in that kind of stuff, But that dude just seems like such a fascinating mind, and he's a brilliant writer. Like, have you read 1984?
No, yeah, I just started it.
Oh, okay. Have you read it before?
In school too.
Oh, okay. But you remember it though, right?
Barely, dude.
No.
I remember we watched the movie too after we read the book.
Yeah.
There's like, it's super, like, from what I remember, it was like super cheesy looking.
I remember neither, bro.
No?
Neither. No. If we did, I don't remember it, man.
Yeah. I don't know if it was like the same year, but I remember we read both of them, but I remember we also watched the movie from like the 60s or something.
Oh, the old one, like the black and white one?
1980 something. 1984, but it's...
like it was like done in like the 60s?
I think so. I think it was in color, but it was very like...
Because there's one that
didn't hold up.
The last one that I think that they did, the last like legit one, was released in 1984, and that's the one that's starring John Hurt.
I don't know, dude. I wouldn't say it was probably before that.
Yeah, because there was a couple of them that they made.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
There's like some ones that they made, like one maybe like the 50s, another one maybe like in the 60s or 70s. I think
this looked like it was 60s or 70s.
Oh, okay.
But I don't remember which one. But
I mean, I don't remember reading either of those books. I don't remember watching that stuff in school at all. This is all kind of new to me. I mean, I had a general idea of what like these stories were about, but not since recently. After actually giving them a shot. Yeah, it's new to me. So, yeah, 1984 is a good fucking book, man. It's a scary ass book.
Yeah,
it is.
That's a horrifying tale. It's so well thought out, man.
It reminded me of The Giver, which I just looked it up. It's not the same author, but that's another one that's like on that kind of level.
Yeah,
and I know they made a movie like not too long ago. I never watched it just because it did not look.
There's
good.
A few that are in that category. Like I know Fahrenheit 451 is one of them.
Fahrenheit 451, which is another one we read.
Yeah, that's the one that's about the book burning.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one.
I don't remember any of these books being assigned to me when I was in school.
No,
just
Hungry Caterpillar.
Yeah,
like here you go, Fidel.
Like not even Animal Farm. The only reason I even came across that one was honestly I don't even remember. But it was not like an assigned thing in in my class at all.
I mean, I feel like just listening to punk music, like there's always gonna be like a peer that suggests that book to you. So maybe that's what happened.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, because I mean, it's mad relevant. I mean, I've heard it referenced in many punk songs, dude.
Yeah,
you know, because I mean, they've referenced because it's such a good reference. Like I'm telling you, if you watch the documentary, you can see how like some of like the concepts in his words, and then after like having read the book, I recommend maybe like reading it first and then watching the documentary, just because it will help. It might help a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like the way that like all of these kind of concepts can be applied throughout history when you kind of look at the way that, you know, fascist governments or fascist in nature, you know, like 1984 government seems very much like how North Korea like gets down, you know?
Yeah.
Very much controlled, you know, because it's basically a story about a dude who exists in this government that's basically the English socialist government of the future, which is another one of those, you know, became like one of those far left, you know, authoritarian, and then became its own dictatorship scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like everything is controlled. Everything is controlled and everything is surveilled. Everything you do, everything you think, like the thought police term comes from this book. The Big Brother comes from this book, you know. Dude, everybody has this telescreen in their homes that provide to them what they're supposed to be seeing, and at the same time it like surveils you, you know, and like if you kind of respond like the wrong way with your face, you know, to something like Big Brother saying on screen, it'll detect it, you know.
That's
and
crazy.
then and it's like, oh, and then they'll keep like a log of it, and it falls into the jurisdiction of the thought police, and now because the thought police is now going to start like thinking that you're committing thought crimes, you know, like yeah, it's a very dark like tale. So and you're like they don't have sex, you're like falling in love and have like all that stuff is like,
damn, what is this,
like
Demolition Man?
Yeah, it's like all forbidden, dude. Like they've even like you see that they kind of change speech to make people dumber, you know, like they call it newspeak. It's pretty grim. It's a horrifying tale, man.
I think it's the giver too that they have like that. They have something attached to their heads or their ears that like every 15 seconds there's like a loud ring. And it's like literally every 15 seconds you're going to hear that ring just so you don't have deep thoughts. It'll just break that concentration.
Damn, maybe some sort of kind of like an electric like signal kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I mean, like I said, I only read that book once and it was forever ago, but it's something similar to that. So like where they just don't want you to think.
Yeah.
So it's like they put these on everybody so that nobody has like a thought longer than like 15 seconds. It's pretty gnarly.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But I mean, like, dude, like it's scary because of like how real, like you can apply that in a lot of ways, like right now, like how you can see it being, how you can see elements of that kind of stuff playing out before our eyes today, you know, around the world in different ways, you know, and I think that's scary, you know, like, and who's to know, like, who knows, like what happens, like how worse things get, you know, like China has a lot of that crazy surveillance technology, you know, even if you were to the point where even if like you were to wear like a face covering, dude, like like the algorithm detects like your gait, like in the way you walk, like, you know, and it's kind of like it's hard to kind of escape, you know, having those eyes on you all the time, you know. And it's a very real thing that's happening, you know. And after you read a book like that, you're just kind of like, damn, this seems like such a like a realistic like horror, you know. Yeah, honestly, one of the scariest stories I like legitimately that I think I've ever read, watched, you know. Yeah, but it's good. It's well written. I love the way it's written. The way that I did it was through Audible, and I listened to it, and it was, dude, it was scored. It had a sound design on it. Andrew Garfield was the main character. He played Winston, and it was done so good that where like there's moments in the book where it's a lot of like he's in his head, like you hear him, like it's his thoughts. You're in his head, and like the conversations are happening, and you can hear them, like as a regular conversation between two people, but then you can hear it like because the sound design is done so well, and then you can hear how it sounds like he's thinking in his head while he's having this conversation with this person. Like in the very beginning when he's he comes across like a coworker or something like that. The guy's asking questions and he's like, this is one of the stupidest people I know, or something like that. You know, he's thinking about how dumb he thinks this guy is while he's talking to him. And the way that the audiobook that I listened to did it was super good, super engaging. I felt very immersed in it. I got through it very quickly as a result. And I think because of the score and the sound design, especially at the end of this book, and you know, it's a professional actor, bro. It really sold like the horrifying climax and ending of the book, and it's super good. I thought it was really a really cool way to experience it. You know, so if you find it on Audible and it's the one with Andrew Garfield, I recommend that one for sure.
I don't have Audible anymore.
Oh no,
no.
Oh fuck. Yeah, but that one was good though.
It's not like that on Spotify.
Because there's ones that are on Audible on Spotify, so I'm sure I'm maybe if you search it, I haven't checked. Maybe that'd be cool if it is though. Because that one was really cool. Yeah, I like the audiobooks that have that element to it. It's really cool. Like it's kind of just it makes it hit different in my opinion.
Because I know I think the Lord of the Rings is like that on Spotify, isn't it?
They have the Andy Serkis ones, like the official ones, and then there's like this one that I have. It's like kind of disguised as like a playlist or something like that. Under like some Ninja Turtle like name or something like that. But it's like a dude who actually did all of those things himself, like the sound design, the voice acting. He included the score from the films to it, and it's the unabridged version of Tolkien's words. So like it's basically experiencing the book in Tolkien's words, but in the style of watching the movie. So like you can hear like the hooves and the swords and the wind and the crashing of the shields and the swords and stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah. That one's on there. There's a couple other places you can find it. But yeah, I like those types of audiobooks. Like I said, they really draw me in easier. I like it because I mean I don't have to watch it, you know, but like I feel like I'm getting it as complete and full like that, you know, especially for a book like that. It's pretty cool.
How old were you when you think you got radicalized?
I think like when I started listening to like anarcho-punk,
yeah,
you know, I'd say like it kind of just opened my eyes to some of these things. It was like the way that I found out about a lot of things that I guess I wouldn't have like thought of challenged in the first place. But I don't think it was something that I personally felt until maybe like I became like a working adult, someone who has a family and stuff, where I can really kind of see the impacts of like politics in everyday life with everybody, you know, to the point where like when people say like, oh, you know, to keep politics out of this and that, when in reality, it's very much an integral part of like our existence.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of shit that I'm very critical about from the things that I've learned. And because I have like the personal, like I feel the personal effects of it at this point in my life, I would say like as an adult, like for sure, like within the last few years, I would say is when I truly felt like myself, like being angry about these things for real, you know, upset about it for real, not just because I disagreed with it and, you know, what I was turned on to by the music and was like galvanized. I wanted to go to protest. I wanted to scream it and like, you know, have arguments with people. But now I'm like, you know, I actually study. I actually try to educate myself and I try to be intentional with the way that I move in the world and how I spend my money and like the discussions that I have and, you know, things like that, like doing what I can, I suppose. But yeah, maybe not till recently for real.
I feel like it's pretty similar for me too. Because like same thing with music. It has to do with music, you know. You start paying attention what these artists are talking about in their songs, and
Yeah.
you start looking up like, okay, like what does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of opens your eyes to shit, you know. And I'm asking because like we are talking about these books that are pretty prevalent in that topic,
Mm-hmm.
and Anna had pointed out to me recently that a lot of my books that I have now are about stuff like this.
Yeah.
And me and her had a conversation where I asked her that. I was like, oh, like, how old were you when you feel like you got radicalized? And she was like a kid, because her dad would talk to her about like Mexican revolutionaries,
Okay.
like Emilio Zapata and like Cesar Chavez, like since she was a kid, and to like pay attention to shit, you know? And she had recommended me a book. I ended up buying it. I haven't started it yet though, but it's called Bad Mexicans. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
Have you heard of it?
No.
All right. I had to pull it up because I didn't want to like butcher what it's about. It's basically Bad Mexicans tells the dramatic story of the Mangonistas, the migrant rebels who sparked the 1910 Mexican Revolution from the United States. So I think she's reading it right now. So I got it and like I want to start reading it, but it is about like these people that basically influence like Emilio Zapata and like all those like well-known Mexican revolutionaries.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. So, but I also ended up picking up another book when I bought that one called Blitzed. I don't know if I told you guys about it.
Yeah, I remember you kind of told me about that.
Have I told you about this one?
That one sounds familiar, so I'm pretty sure.
It's about how drugs ran rampant within the Third Reich. Like all these Nazis were just all fucked up all the time.
Yeah, they were just
That
like,
sounds gnarly.
yeah,
dude.
they were like tweaker occultists.
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
Yeah, no, they were really about like some crazy, like fucking outlandish, like occult type magic shit, and then getting fucking strung out.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one too.
That's interesting. That's interesting. You gotta tell me about
That's
it.
gnarly,
Dude.
dude.
What about you, Eddie? How old were you when you started paying attention?
What?
Today.
Just now.
Today, years old?
While listening to you guys.
You guys just opened up. Nah, dude. I mean, it was punk music, but I had to narrow it down to Dead Kennedys, dude.
Yeah.
Like that was the first band that their lyrics weren't like normal, like band lyrics, like, oh, this sucks, that sucks, fuck this, fuck that, you know? Like they were actually clever, and they were always through the point of view of the bad guy.
Yeah.
It was always like he is the cop.
And the fact that they did a lot of tongue in cheek, like satirical stuff, like the smallpox Ebola cocktail type shit, you know, and it's like if like to the like at face value, it's just a silly fucking song, right? But it really goes in depth about, you know, like disease conspiracies.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
Like Too Drunk to Fuck. Like that just like I remember like growing up and like everyone just been like, oh, that's a party song. And I'm like, that's a fucking political song, dude. Like that's highly political song. Like it's not about like what you think it is.
Absolutely.
You know, like police truck, police brutality, but it's through the eyes. Like you're the cops doing the, you know, the fucking beating up and all that, dude. And like,
Police truck, and it's featured in a video game.
Yep.
Yeah. California Liberales, Holiday in Cambodia. Like that's all through the eyes of like Pol Pot and all that, like the dictator, you know, and it's like it just blew my mind. I'm like, this is so like that was like the first example where I'm like, damn, like I'm actually really into the lyrics, you know, because it wasn't just like they had a good way of like balancing like fun punk and weird punk,
Yeah.
but also like the lyrics were fucking heavy and deep.
Being silly, but also like serious at the same time.
Mhm.
That's something that I very much admire about like Sergio's lyric writing in
it's
AC/DC.
very similar, dude.
And in the earlier days, it was very much like, you know, kind of like leveraging like movies and like references and stuff. There's a lot less of that these days, but still like very tongue in cheek, very very satirical in nature, to make fun of things. And I feel like just like Jello Biafra and the Dead Kennedys, dude, like it's really easy to connect with it that way. To kind of like you can see things for the joke that they are, as the way that they're presenting it, you know. And then it kind of for me, I felt like it kind of forces me to look at it a different way. And I can't. It's been that way. I can't unsee it now. you know?
Yeah. I mean, they even have like songs like Pull My Strings. It's like about selling out and like playing boring music to become mainstream, you know? Like so I mean, that was like the tip of the iceberg, I guess. And then, you know, of course, after that came like Crass and like the more heavier shit, you know, like that's just like the lyrics are way just, you know.
So Dead Kennedys was definitely like that gateway band for you then.
Yeah, as far as like
political, like radicalization.
It's just like where I was like, okay, like, you know, very like I said before that, like, I mean, listening to like Ramones and stuff like that, like, it's just fun.
Yeah, but they didn't have like those messages. It
yeah,
was
like
just,
I guess that edginess wasn't there.
It was just rock and roll. Like, it was just sex and drugs.
Yeah.
And partying, you know, but just with like distortion on their amps, you know.
But I remember like those lyrics, like, you know, from that band were like the first time I was actually like giving like, you know, like,
it like it started to kind of like turn your wheels a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, from there, just, you know, getting into more bands and stuff. But same thing with you. Like, I think it wasn't till you start, you know, I mean, you're a kid. You don't have any responsibility. You just hate the government because, like, you know it's bad. Like, that's it. You know, like you're just like,
and you're not on the hook if you get in trouble for shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
As a kid, like,
yeah.
you have a lot. There's a lot less at stake.
Yeah, and I think that's why, like, you know, teenagers are so easy to market because like they give everything their all like right away. You know, and like, you know, it's not until you're, like you said, you're older and you start working and you know, you try to make a living with the shitty pay. You know, you start seeing like all the realities that come with like adulthood and like how like politics does affect you no matter what, you know, and stuff that, you know, it doesn't, I mean, it does affect you as a kid, but not anywhere near that level, you know?
Yeah.
Because you have like your parents there, you know, to, you know, rely on and, you know, but it's just, yeah, like I think it was just early adulthood, you know, mid-20s maybe, where you just really, like you said, you got angry at it for experiencing it, I guess.
Yeah, because it's like when you become working class. When you become working class, like, because real punk is working class music, and like I would even say, like, even before I got into like anarcho punk, Oi. Now that I think about it, that's working class music as fuck. Very anti-oppression music, you know. There's a lot of those kinds of ideas from listening to that before I got into anarcho punk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just because like the identity with working class and the nature of how that works in like society is where you feel you feel those impacts, you know.
I think another reason was when you're a teenager, dude, you just hang out with people like-minded people.
Yeah.
You know, you choose who you surround yourself with, and that's what you know.
But at work,
adulthood, dude, like, dude, after the Super Bowl. I think because the Super Bowl was on Sunday, right? So Monday, the next work day, I have a new executive director of the building that came in, and like everyone's just talking about it. And she was one of those like, oh, I didn't watch that Super Bowl. I watched the All American, blah blah blah.
Oh man, a real Gatriot.
Yeah, but I was just like, dude. And there was two people, and old white ladies.
That's what's up.
And and I didn't say anything. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Just let them talk.
Yeah.
And then but like that's like another thing that you come to reality that like there's people you're gonna grow and hate, you know, and like that's like another part of that being radicalized. That it's like I fucking hate these people, you know, like you just
because and like the way I look at it is kind of like, dude, you're like me. Like you're in the exact same position in life as me. Like how can you be like just blind like this, you know?
Yeah.
And just like that, you know? Because I there's people like that at work for me too.
Yeah, dude.
You know? And I'm like, man, everything else about you is really cool, but like this one thing just makes you seem like the people in 1984 who just like big brother, they just repeat the things, you know, and just, dude. You know, don't and like the newspeak, you know, yeah, dude, it's when you have to when you're forced to interact with the ramifications.
Like, these people really exist.
Yeah,
I hate them and I don't want to be anything like them. So
they're a byproduct of the systems in which like we've come to to be critical of, you know.
Yeah.
So then now you have to exist in this world with these people and these ideas, and because they've become victims of this grift, you know, they're voters, you know, and you know, and that's what I mean, like when I feel like that, you know, that real tangible like ramifications of that, you know. So like getting in the working class as an adult, having to move in the world under these conditions, you know, that's when exactly, you know, where you truly feel like, oh man, you have to make a choice, you know. It's the like a that blue pill red pill kind of thing, I suppose, you know. The ignorance is strength, you know. What is it in 1984? Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. What was the other one? I can't remember.
I swear these people recite that shit in their car before work, dude.
Yeah, and
like, fuck,
and dude, like, and it's crazy, like, you know, and people repeat these things, but like when you think about it, they're incongruent juxtapositions, dude. Like they don't make sense, you know. Yeah, dude. I think those people sound sad. Yeah, and like, so I mean, yeah, it's hard not to feel like radicalized, you know. I'm glad that I found like the music that I found, and you know, surrounded myself and immersed myself in those communities, because even hip hop, dude,
you could have easily grown up just listening to Kid Rock, dude.
Yeah,
fuck yeah,
dude. But even hip hop has like revolutionary roots. Like it's literally the sibling of punk, you know. Like
they go hand in hand.
They're siblings. They're born from the same parents. You know what I'm saying? The same plight applies to them, which is why like the energy is the same to me, you know, why they move the same way, operate the same way. Like Immortal Technique is a good example of someone who I felt really, you know, just directly, aggressively, you know, at a time when, you know, when you hear like, you know, fuck the government, you know, this guy is actually saying some shit. It's like, damn, like, you know, like one song of his I like in particular is I think it's called Freedom of Speech. And he's like, freedom of speech, motherfucker. And
is that the one that has the Pinocchio sample?
The Pinocchio sample. Yeah. And he's like, and even at the end of the song, he's like, fuck royalties. I'll flip a sample. I don't give a fuck, you know. I don't pay nobody no shit, you know. Censor me, bitch, you know. And dude, you know, Dead Prez. They're very revolutionary in nature. Jedi Mind Tricks, you know. There's a lot, you know. And I was listening to a lot of that stuff before I really got into punk. So I was even hearing some of these guys say stuff that maybe necessarily didn't click to me at the time when I was hearing it when I was very young. But then after kind of just, you know, over time, getting older, experiencing more, learning more, hearing more music, you know, revisiting those things that you like, I'm like, oh shit, like I hear it for the first time again, in a way, you know, and I was like, damn, like I've been put onto this for quite some time, you know? So, I mean, I've been fortunate to be put on to like that revolutionary thought for some time, you know, but I guess it like, again, didn't awaken until, you know, I identified with the working class, I suppose.
How do you feel about Run the Jewels?
Run the Jewels? Yeah, no, that's a dope group. You know, like Killer Mike's tight.
Yeah.
Killer Mike's badass, dude.
I think the band for me that made me kind of start paying attention to stuff like that, because I come from nu metal, so and he's already laughing.
Was System of a Down?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah,
same. That's another one too. You know,
because I will always remember when Toxicity came out, and I went to the Warehouse Music Store when that existed.
Damn.
To buy the CD, and I remember the guy behind the counter. He's like, "Really, you want to buy this?" He's like, "You should buy this instead." And it was Rage Against the Machine Battle of Los Angeles, because they came out around the same time. And I had no idea who Rage Against the Machine was at that time. And I was just like, nah, I know what I want. This is what I want. He's like, trust me, man. Like, this is way better. And I'm like, nah, I'm just going to take this. So I ended up buying Toxicities.
Hell yeah.
Which, I mean, Battle of Los Angeles is a good album. Like, I came to know it later, but System of a Down was that one where I was like actually paying attention to the lyrics.
Yeah.
But then, of course, once getting into like hardcore and like the punk adjacent stuff, like that's really when I started paying more attention.
That's interesting. You know, because him and I got into it very similarly, but you came in through like that other channel, which I think is really cool. Thankfully, that System of a Down was out there doing that kind of stuff on in that in that crowd, you know, because you know, these are they're important, all very important issues that people need to be talking about. You know, people need to be exposed to like the truth of things. You know, so that's pretty cool.
And it's crazy to think that like System of a Down like really is like that popular of a band, and a lot of people don't pay attention to what they're saying in their songs.
Yeah, I think that's a shame. You know,
like BYOB specifically.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, I mean, I remember listening to that band very heavily, those albums a lot when I was like 12, 13. Before I got into punk, dude. I'm telling you, around the time when I was like getting put onto like underground hip hop. Yeah. I was discovering like more like rock music, and System of a Down was like, you know, like the songs about like police brutality in Los Angeles. Like, you know, I know the lyrics well, but at that time now, I never made it. It never clicked to me that what they were actually referencing until later.
Yeah. Yeah, the band was sick.
Yeah, I think it was, for me, like the band was probably like Conflict. I remember Omar showing me like Conflict, Crass, and Oz Rotten, and like it was like that. Those three bands, there were the ones that really were saying a lot of things that were, I would feel like I was really absorbing a lot, you know. And I just remember like going, you know me, like I get super interested in something and I obsess about it for for months, you know. And that's kind of how it was, you know. Like I even remember being like on the phone, like, you know, with an ex, and, you know, like talking about things that, you know, and I'm like, why do you care about those things, you know? And it's like, and I'm like, you know, like 15, 16 years old, bro, you know. And I'm like, oh, because it's fucking important, you know? Like, and I just couldn't help it, like, to feel something about these things, you know? Like, it was what opened my eyes to, like, injustices that exist in the world, you know? Like, I've always kind of, like, we've learned about, like, you know, the civil rights movement in school, like racism and things like that on a very surface level, I would say.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until, like, some of these specific bands were talking about the systems in place that uphold like those traditions, you know, of like white supremacy and things like that, that go beyond that surface level understanding of like what you think racism is, you know. And it's, I don't know, for me, it's hard not to feel interested in discourse like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, those were those bands for sure. And of course, like you guys, the more you get exposed to hardcore, had a lot to offer, you know, and you know, folk punk, you know, and things like that. Like, there's different walks of nature, like, and folk punk dudes, like a lot of those bands, those are fools that walk the fucking walk. Like, they live in like very commune based type situations, you know. They're very much kind of off grid, DIY in nature, you know. And so like the nature of like their lyrics are different, you know. And you know, you learn about like anarchism and things like that, you know, those philosophies and concepts, you know. And yeah, I definitely not until, you know, you have to go to work and pay bills and like be a cog in the machine, you really start to see it in front of you, and you know, you're backed by those things that you've come to learn. It's hard not to feel like, it's hard not to feel like, you know, the anger, you know, and the angst that comes with, you know. Yeah, so I don't know. I was having a conversation like this recently with somebody that, you know, we're talking about like, you know, when living in a society like this with the values that you hold like that, it's a matter of just doing like what you can, like doing your best, you know. You know, like I have a family, bro. You know, I work for a Fortune 500 company, you know, like it's a major corporation. But like I do what I can under these circumstances, you know. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's hard not to love and be interested in this music, these topics. These are very real things, you know.
Yeah.
Especially like when you think about like the books, like 1984, written by someone who's actually boots on the ground, rifle in fucking hand, and that documentary shows like pictures of him like with a rifle and like ammunition and shit alongside of these of these like guerrilla fighters, straight up like in a civil war fighting against like actual fascists, you know. I mean, that's fucking cool, man. You know?
Against fascists, Antifa, get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god.
That's just crazy, dude.
Yeah, dude. I had a lot of I've overheard quite a bit of that Super Bowl halftime shit. You know, it's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
It's super dumb.
You didn't watch it, Eddie?
No, I'm not really interested. But I mean, I can't even deny with all the shit that's going on right now how important it was.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, like I said, Bad Bunny, I really couldn't name you a song. Like, to me, it does sound like mumbling, but undeniably, I think he was the perfect person for this. And just the way, like, everyone was like 100% in and about it, you know, except like the weird old ugly white people. But like, I don't know, for like a couple, like a week after, dude, like I feel like everyone's like has that like, I'm proud to be Latino, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like, you should have that energy like every day, but it's like maybe this is like what, you know, gets the snowball like going, you know? Like,
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, dude, because I mean, like, you know me, like I've kind of grown up like with something of like an identity crisis, kind of existing between two worlds, you know, not growing up speaking Spanish.
because you think you're black?
That's funny. But like there was a moment in time when I remember during that performance when they were doing like that wedding segment, you know, and especially when they showed like the kid that was sleeping on the chairs and stuff. I couldn't help but to kind of like feel it, you know, in a way. And I think what that felt like was the first time that I maybe felt like representation like that, you know? And when you hear like, oh, representation matters, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I've really kind of like felt that before. And it's crazy to think that it was like a Bad Bunny halftime fucking show that did that, but that was really cool because, I mean, I love weddings, dude, and that's an integral part of like Latino culture, you know. And
it's funny like how subtle it is too, just because like it does seem like such a small thing.
It's a throwaway.
But, yeah, but like for someone who like us, like we see that as like, oh shit, yeah, that's like a thing for us, you know. Like, because for sure there's people out there like, what, why was that there? Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah,
you know. So like, it's not like you won't understand it unless you like lived that type of life, I guess.
Yeah.
So I see what you mean. Like, I agree. Because because I watched it here with you, and I remember in watching it, like, okay, Bad Bunny, like he does have songs that I like, but it's not necessarily music like I sought out like to listen to, you know?
Yeah, I mean, as a DJ, like I'm playing that shit all the time, but like if I'm casually like in the car, like it's not something I put on to listen to, you know?
But like I found myself like as I was watching it, like just constantly getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
And just feeling emotional. And I couldn't really understand why necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But like just as it kept going, I was just like, dude, like this is awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Like especially like the whole wedding segment, like that was cool. But even just thinking about like people or like thinking about dissecting everything, because I'm the same way where I see something I like delve into it, like really dive into it to try to understand all aspects of it. And that's what I did. Like after I left here, went home, I was just like looking shit up. Like, okay, like because it seemed like everything he did was intentional. Like it had a meaning to it. And I guess there's like a lot of the whole engagement part. Do you remember that part at the beginning? Like somebody got engaged.
Yeah.
That was real also.
Yeah.
Like it's not only like just that wedding, that was a real wedding. The engagement was real as well. And then the whole throw to Lady Gaga was intentional as well. Because what he says in that part was, he says like, in Spanish, he says, "Isn't this what you wanted?" And then it goes to Lady Gaga. Like, because like a lot of people were like, oh no, like we want something in English. And she starts singing in English, and she's like a white woman, and like kind of saying like, this is what you wanted, so I'm going to give it to you.
That's tight.
Yeah.
That's tight. See, and that's what I liked about it too. You know, I mean, not only because it's like, you know, it was very something that is Latino dude. Like, I mean, it's cool. I've been to a couple of like super fucking Latino weddings recently.
Yeah.
So seeing that go down, I was just, I get the same warm fuzzies like watching that as I do when I'm at like the weddings themselves,
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was just like a performance, and it was cool to do something that kind of meant something to people. And I didn't think that it seemed like it was too egregious of like a controversial like statement that he's putting out there, because at the end of the day, anybody who, no matter what you believe in or whatever your opinions are on things, like everybody's critical of certain things that they don't find to be right. Everyone feels that way. And like during that segment when he's doing Apagon, which is a song, and that particular, the way they performed it with the power lines and stuff, making a statement about like, oh, you want us to be American, but like when we need help,
because to this day Puerto Rico struggles with like their power grid because of those hurricanes.
Yeah, and then like all the planting that you see in the set piece is a representation of like the sugarcane, and which is the whole reason why that island was exploited in the first place. You know, and and then the overall message at the end, like I can't see why that would be like controversial, because if you really think about it. It's a message of love, which anybody who is about being a Christian would be like supportive of that. I get, and it would be patriotic to be supportive of the whole thing in general, because he's a fucking American citizen. Dude was born an American citizen, which is fucked up because they can't vote.
Yeah, I know.
So like, which is really shitty. Yeah. And I mean, and like my take on it, I suppose, is like, I mean, I've pretty much seen and been around every Super Bowl that I can remember in my lifetime. And I don't ever remember a time when like a Super Bowl halftime show was polarizing like this, where it was like, you had to be hard for or hard against, and I don't think I've ever remember a situation where it was such like such a controversy that there was a complete separate performance scheduled at the same time, in its place. It just doesn't seem like an authentic like problem that people have outside of just trying to grasp at straws for excuses for being racist.
Yeah.
Because even when people are like, like, oh, I don't speak English, or I don't speak Spanish. So, I mean, I don't, or I don't listen to that music. I don't know if it's good enough of an excuse, really. Because, I mean, I've seen so many performances from artists that I don't know, that I don't listen to. Bad Bunny's one of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like a Bad Bunny fan. I'm not simping for Bad Bunny right now. Like,
this guy has like so many listeners all around the world, dude.
He's the most listened to artist in the world.
Yeah, he's probably the biggest artist of our lifetime.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I mean, people in other countries don't know what the fuck he's saying. But it's like that, but even they can kind of understand it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Because of how cultural that the essence of that music is in nature.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when you listen to like I don't know, like Fuck on the Beach or something, like just something that's out of the country, that, you don't speak whatever Japanese or whatever, right? So you listen to it, but you know what they're about.
Yep.
100%. Like,
you feel the vibes.
So yeah, dude. Like,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So let's take language out of this entire scenario altogether, because of basically what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
We're going off of just vibes and visuals alone. What's the fucking problem?
Exactly.
I see an American citizen talking about unity.
It felt like a party.
And it felt like a party. Like, I don't like where.
But even that argument of like, oh, he's not American. U2 performed Super Bowl. They're not American.
Paul McCartney.
Like,
that was even that, like, it doesn't matter because to me those are types of arguments where you're just trying to keep score. You know what I mean? Like it's like no different from Pam Bondi with that fucking binder of like dirt to throw at people asking her questions instead of actually answering questions, right?
Yeah.
Like it's to keep score.
Dude,
Yeah.
I will say this, dude. I would rather much watch the All American halftime show over the Bad Bunny just because how fucking terrible it was. That it was actually
You'd
pretty
hate watch
fucking hilarious, dude. It's so like it doesn't seem real, dude.
Have you seen clips of it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
So it wasn't live. It was pre-recorded
Over 2 days.
over 2 days, and the audio was off.
Yeah.
It wasn't synced up. Like
it
that
was terrible,
sounds
dude.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And then just like Kid Rock being this old ass guy, like wearing shorts, like trying to like I don't know. Dude.
I'm gonna be real with you. If that was the halftime show, for real, and it was all those artists, and it was that exact performance the way that it was, I would not have like turned it off or wanted a different one.
Yeah, like who
I would have
cares?
just been like, oh, this is what we're getting. You know what I mean? Like
I don't know,
Dude,
dude.
they used to have marching bands.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just it is what it is. You know,
Yeah.
like how many people do you fucking know have been in that stadium during those
Hey,
games?
they should take their own advice. Just comply. Just watch, dude.
But see, but what I'm saying is like, dude, like, if you get what you get, you know, I mean, from the average person tuning into the Super Bowl is doing it at home or at a bar or somewhere where they're not at the stadium, right?
Yeah.
So it becomes a whole thing from that perspective, right? You have the dope commercials, the dope movie trailers, you have the halftime show, you have the game itself, you have the people. It's an experience. Like, if that was a halftime show, I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't have bothered me. You know, it's just unfortunate.
That shit was boring.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that it sucked. You know,
Shit sucked, dude.
because at the end of the day, dude, I just want to chill, right? Just watch a dope game, right? Like check out this cool performance. Watch these commercials. You know, cut my grass, drink my beer,
Dude.
catch my fish.
Dude, that's the comparison with Bo Burnham. Dude, that shit is so fucking funny. Pandering, homie.
No, that shit's
Pandering.
yeah. I mean, objectively, I just thought those other artists that were on that show outside of Kid Rock are not people I'm familiar with. Those songs were not good.
Yeah.
And I just thought it wasn't something that I particularly enjoyed. But again, like if it was the halftime show that we got, I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I would have watched it regardless, and then reserved like my opinions about it after I was done seeing it. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the whole thing is just really silly, and it's just another example of like this whole like how we said, like in 1984. You know, there's this in group, this out group. You know, it's us versus them, keeping score with one another. You know, it's when you can just simply enjoy
Yeah.
and not give a shit. You know, and make it fucking super weird political doesn't make fucking sense. Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Read more books. Pay attention to shit. Do you have anything you want to say? To kind of summarize the vibe of this episode, it was a more serious one.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll see everybody next week.
question things, you know,
Yeah.
read books, like especially the ones that we're talking about, kind of try to look at it from a different perspective. Critical thinking is really,
Use your brain.
it's boiled down to like this. You basically pick up, you have a thought, a position that you take, put in a little bit of effort to try and prove yourself wrong. Right.
Yes.
Then you can truly stand 10 toes down on it, because now you're not just regurgitating something that you've heard, something that you feel like you ought to repeat. It's something that you actually took the time to ask yourself, do I believe this, knowing all these things that I've just looked into? And yeah, and then you go from there. Otherwise, you just sound like those sheep, you know? So yeah, read more books, listen to more fucking punk bands.
And just ball with the ball, dude.
Yeah, ball with the ball. Bang,
Ball with
bang.
the ball, homie.
Jump the boogie.
Fuck you, Kid Rock.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you guys next time.
All right.